You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry Sanderson on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
79-71. In college basketball, Stetson, Drake, and Longwood all win their conference tournament titles to automatically get into the NCAA tournament.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
And good morning. Welcome into Monday edition of Inside the Locker Room. 205-342-9904 is the phone number if you'd like to jump in with us this morning. The X accounts at Locker Room 109 at Barry Sanderson at Wimp Sanderson 1. Email for our show is wimpandbarry@yahoo.com. We'd like to get the emails. Also, if you want to send us a message, you can do it on the app, the Tide 100.9 app. Put that on your smartphone, and you can take us with you anywhere you go. Justin, Tuscaloosa's kind of empty. No students in town, no school in, so I think everybody I know is down at the beach, but me and you. But doesn't look like there's anybody up here at this radio station either this morning. But anyway, we're happy to have a show for you. Looking forward to the SEC tournament, which will kick off on Wednesday night. Good morning, Dad. How are you this morning?
Doing okay, and I'll give you a lot of information. If you'll listen quick, you'll learn something. Scotty Scheffler won at 15 under, and the Arnold Palmer and Lee Hodges was 3 under, and Justin was 3 under. UAB beat SMU yesterday. I went to that part of that game. Sanford. I think, Barry, they play tonight.
They play East Tennessee State, who was down 20, came back and won.
Yeah, came back and won. I didn't know what it was tonight and when it was.
Tonight on ESPN2 at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock.
Arkansas State it goes to the finals. They beat App State. Stetson, for the first time, my buddies passed away, but I know he's excited about that down where he is, Oak Prairie is, wherever. Mike Davis, I talked to him. He's okay. I'll tell you about the story. I ain't going to take time to tell it now. Purdue is number one, and UNC is number one in their division. So we'll see what happens there. Today's show a little bit different, and I'm going to not different, but this week is a little bit different. We're going to have 3 of my former players: Eddie Phillips, who made the last shot when Emo missed it at Kentucky, and then we're going to have Hollywood Robinson on tomorrow, and the Booger Bear is going to even be on for me at 6:15 because he's in Vegas. And he told me, and we talked yesterday, and he and I are pretty good friends for me to have benched him because he didn't play defense first time he got there, but he's great. And then Gary Waits, a great player for us, will be on Thursday, so we'll have some of my former players on. I think it'll be fun for you to listen to them. Let's see. Okay. Alabama's pretty fortunate to have won the game, although they did win it. But I felt like Arkansas made a critical mistake in not taking the ball to Mitchell and calling timeout for the last shot. They ended up shooting a 25-foot shot, which is ridiculous. You got to call timeout and take the ball to Mitchell in that situation. I'm not coaching their team, but that's what I would have done. And it cost them dearly in the regulation, and Alabama came back and beat them. We're not ahead very much. Okay, we're going to the SEC tournament, and I want you to understand this about the SEC tournament, then I'll keep my mouth shut. It is you. It is your team. It is whether your team is glad to be there. It is whether your team, the substitutes are mad about the money, the substitutes about this. They're anxious. If we get beat, we get beat. We're going to the beach on Thursday. If we get beat on Wednesday, it's all about your team. Now you got to know how to play the opponent. You got to know what the opponent does. I understand all that, but unless you are ready to play. And I'll tell you this, the championship game is not Sunday afternoon. The championship game is the night that you play. That is the championship game for you. Now, here it is. Arkansas and Vanderbilt, who are at the very bottom, or close to the bottom, will play each other. And then they will play South Carolina. The winner will play South Carolina, and then the winner of the Vanderbilt, Arkansas, South Carolina game will play Auburn. And They will play them on Friday in the second game. Alabama will play the last game on Friday. Missouri will play Georgia. Should be a good game there. Neither one of them are great, but they're okay. And the winner of that game will play Florida. And then Florida will, the winner of that game, Florida, Missouri, Florida, Georgia, whoever, will play Alabama. And that will be an 8:30 game in Nashville. Generally speaks a little bit later than that, but 8:30 game in Nashville on Friday. So both of your games for Auburn and Alabama are Friday, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one at night. And then you would need to win that game in order to continue on. In their bracket, in Alabama's bracket, is Kentucky, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. In Auburn's bracket, of course, is Tennessee, and South Carolina in there as well, LSU. So should be a very exciting tournament. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do about going, but hopefully we can report. I'll report. Barry will, too. Barry knows much more than I do about it. So we'll have Doug on today with golf. It's some very interesting golf, very controversial stuff, if I can remember all of it. And so we'll have the regular guys on, but we'll have Eddie Phillips on. And Eddie played for me and was a good player. That's it.
All right. Also,
but that's it. I mentioned Mike Davis. Mike Davis is okay. He's fine.
All right. Before we get started any further, I forgot to do this. It's that time of year again. The honey-do list is growing, and the projects are adding up. The time is right to build that new fence, deck, pergola you've been dreaming about. There's no better product than Yellowwood brand. Yep. Pressure-treated pine. Yellowwood offers the best protection from rot, fungal decay, and termite attack. So you know your project will last for years to come. Head on down to your local dealer. Go to yellowwood.com to find that. And always remember, if it doesn't have that yellow tag on it, you don't want it. One of the worst defended plays ever, and they didn't take a timeout. I guess they didn't have one. Did y'all see the end of that Tennessee-South Carolina game? Women's.
No, I didn't. I saw the fight.
No, that was the LSU game.
Tell me what happened. I didn't
South Carolina should have never been in the championship game with 3-point-something seconds, right, Justin? Tennessee is shooting 2.
You mean not Tennessee?
No, Tennessee.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Shooting
semifinal game.
Yes, Tennessee is shooting 2, up 2 with 3.7 seconds. They have a foul to give. They miss both. The girl is dribbling up to half court, and Tennessee reaches in and fouls with like 1-point-something seconds. All right, so they missed 2 free throws. They're up 2. They take the ball out on the side. There is no timeout called. The Tennessee center is standing in the lane. She lets the South Carolina center go to the top of the key, and she stays in the lane and just lets her shoot. She has not made a 3 all year, but doesn't even go up there and lets her shoot a wide open 3-point shot, and she banks it in. That poor Tennessee coach they were 32-0. They're going to lose this game, and Kelly Harper, bless her heart. You got to go up there with the girl. That's all she literally, there was nobody around her, and she banked it in. So you're up to shooting 2 with 3.7 seconds, and you lose.
I ain't getting over that one.
She was over there. She was like, you could see tears coming in her eyes, the coach for Tennessee. Yeah. First of all, you got to go up there with the girl. Even if you didn't foul, I don't have a problem with them fouling. They didn't even guard the girl, and she banked one in. So I think women's basketball, guys, is catching the men. I watched Caitlin yesterday. They were down, and she came back. Man, she hit some humongous shots to get that game back to overtime.
Some player, boy.
The game is exciting. The men's game, I don't know. You looked at that Nebraska-Iowa game, it was packed in there. That LSU game yesterday, some controversy at the end, and I want to congratulate that. I don't know if you've seen this. The girls coach at Shelton, Madonna Thompson, This is one of the most amazing streaks ever. She has won. Now, are you sitting down? I'm not going to get this wrong. I know it's going to not even sound right. Conference games, she has won 200 straight. 200 in a row in the conference. Now,
I don't fire her if she loses one.
Huh?
They need to fire her if she loses one.
200. How many seasons is that?
And that's something that's great.
200 straight?
Yeah.
Justin, that might be a bigger accomplishment than John Wooden. 200 straight? Is that right, Justin? Do I have that correct? 200 in a row conference games she's won.
Oh, that's absolutely right. Completely dominating over there at Shelton State.
I mean, you would think one game you'd have some girls sick or something, and now 200 straight? Do you know how hard that is to win 200 straight conference games? So, anyway, do y'all think the women's game is? And I tell you what, I watched Alabama. They played terrible against Tennessee, but that Jay Barker's daughter, she's good. Have you seen her dance? She's really
Jay Barker's daughter. I said that out loud. I don't think you listened to the show.
I know you said it, but I never have watched her.
She is an absolute. She is a booger bear. She's big and strong and physical and tough. She was at Georgia. She went there because of the coach. The coach leaves, and she gets disgruntled and pulls out, and very disappointing loss for them. But she is some basketball player.
Yeah, Sarah Ashley Barker, first team.
Yeah, she is good.
She didn't have a great game against Tennessee, but you could just tell, man, she can put the ball on the floor. She can take it to the hole. I'm mad at myself that I hadn't been over there to watch her in person because she is good.
Yeah, she is.
Really good.
Sure
so I'm sure Jay is very proud of her.
He should be.
Yeah, good player. So anyway, the women's tournament, I think the women basketball is growing, and I think the men's basketball is kind of going backwards, to be quite honest with you.
I don't think it's going backwards.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. You think it's exciting? I think the women's game's just as exciting. I don't know.
I think generally speaking, until this year, and not including Alabama, that the ladies shoot their free throws so well. She missed the two that time, but they've got the great touch on the free throws. I think free throw shooting has been better in the league this year than it's been. Alabama's really good at it. So we'll see what happens. Should be very interesting. We know we're pretty much locked into, I think, 17. My thought is 7. I picked 4 losses in the conference, and I said somebody with 4 would tie for the championship. Somebody with 4 won the championship. So with 4 losses, so did get that right, and then the others had certain, so it went 13-5, and so it was pretty interesting throughout the whole year.
All right, and also out this morning, Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
he's going to the Steelers. They're going to pay $1.2 million, and the Broncos are going to have to pay $37. So he's going to make $37 million from the Broncos and the Steelers.
Money is everything is money. Everything is money.
I mean, 37. What is your take-home pay monthly on $37 million?
I don't know. I learned the other day, and I'm not going to say any more, but I'm learning the other day that a former player at Alabama was asked to come to the Alabama, to Paul Bryant thing where they just put our stuff to sign autographs. You know what he said?
How much?
He'd come for $40,000.
Oh my goodness! Was he a football player?
Yeah.
Did they give it to him?
No.
Okay. Ooh, $40,000. That's Tim Tebow money. He asked for double that, didn't he? Come speak.
Oh yeah, he wanted 92.
92,000 for a 30-minute speech. The guy wanted 92,000.
I know. Remember, you asked me this question when we first talked about it, and I said he had $1 million or something like that. Crazy. Still a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah. All right, we'll take the break here. Open up the phone lines. Y'all not as amazed with Madonna's accomplishment as I am, but anyway, Royal Cleaners. They want to make your life easy. They'll come pick up all the cleaning, get it cleaned up, deliver it right back. People are hitting the golf course now, and everybody's got those beautiful golf shirts, so let Royal handle those. Out at University Boulevard, Bridge Avenue in North Porter, 4851 Ricebine Road. For all your cleaning needs, 205-391-0034. You listen to Tide 100.9, 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We do have a little trouble for southbound Highway 69 drivers. As you pass up Middle Airy Road, we have an accident there that is causing a little bit of a backup. Not a long one yet, but you may lose a minute or two along the way there. Again, it's southbound 69 past Middle Airy. No big problems if you're traveling 2059 from Foster's to Cottondale. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Monday morning. Carly Russell's fake kidnapping case from last year will not be going to trial. Instead, she will attend a plea hearing on March 21st. Russell was convicted of false reporting to Hoover Police and false reporting of a crime. She's expected to plead guilty. The case drew national attention.
Or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance.
Base with Select Sealy mattresses. See a lower price? We'll match it. The right mattress matters. We'll find yours. Restrictions apply. See store website for details.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A sunny sky today. The high for this afternoon around 63. Cold again tonight. Clear with the low at 35. Tomorrow and Wednesday, mostly sunny both days with a warming trend. The high tomorrow 70. The high Wednesday at 74 degrees. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 35 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Did you miss any episode on Tide 100.9? Don't worry. All of our shows can be found on Spotify and Apple Music and on demand on the Tide 100.9 app.
Pressure treated pine from Great Southern. You want to build the 5-star backyard. There's only one choice. Use Yellowwood. Go to yellowwood.com to find the dealer that is closest to you. I like the tournaments this week. They have these smaller league tournaments. It's basically win and get to the NCAA tournament and you lose and you go home. So everybody has an opportunity. I do feel sorry for a team like Indiana State. They're 26-6. 17-3. They lose to Drake, who's also a good ball club, 84-80. Then now these are when people say don't expand the tournament. I get that, but I would rather see Indiana State get in this tournament than a Mississippi State. Your thoughts about Indiana State? But people say, well, who'd you beat? Well, people don't play these teams, so they can't beat the people that they need to order to build their resume. But I feel for teams like Indiana State now. They got to sit there and sweat this thing out for 6 days.
I'm kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth. I do too. I hate it over one game, but I don't really want to see them expand the tournament. I think it takes away from the play that we have during the regular season. Arkansas State, former coach at Alabama, beat App State last night, by the way. I'm talking 67-65, which means that he moves into the final game.
He plays James Madison tonight, who's 30-3.
Yeah. I think it's who's that?
James Madison.
Yeah. So it's hard to do. They've taken away, if you win your league, you automatically get in. They've taken that away. I don't know that they should. The league winning the league is a pretty big deal. When I was coaching, people would say, well, you didn't win the league this year, but you won the tournament. Back then, we convinced our kids, and it was that the tournament champ. Well, it should be or not, I'm not sure. But the champion of the SEC was a team that won the tournament, and that's what they gave us. So, we emphasize that in playing in the tournament. So this is going to be for the championship, regardless of what we had done during the regular season. And so it was a little bit difficult to know. Barry makes a good point there. Difficult to know exactly what to do on that situation there. But Jim Nance will not be calling the NCAA this year. He's bypassed it, and because he's long and drawn out, and I guess he's probably a little bit tired. Be interested. I started to have Tom Hart on this week, but I decided to give him a rest and maybe get him on next week after the tournament's over. If you have questions about the tournament or who you think this, that, and the other, just feel free to give us a call. I know that we're more basketball this week than ever, but at the same time, we can talk some football with you. Alabama football seems to be going along good. They got a couple of commitments from kids, and they're playing music at their practices. And Coach still has his office there, and people. I think the defense coordinators come in and visit with him. So we'll see what happens on that side. Everything is good, I think, until they play games.
Yeah, and speaking of big games, we talked about it at the beginning of the show, but Bucky's team, if they don't win tonight, they're not going to the NCAA tournament.
It would be awful.
And they got a break there. East Tennessee State, I think Chattanooga was better, so for East Tennessee State to upset them in overtime last night. The East Tennessee's 19-15. Bucky's team is 28-5 with an opportunity to win tonight to make it to the NCAA tournament. There are some other games on tonight with, obviously Gonzaga and those type of teams. But
one of the interesting things to me, Barry, will be to see the penalties that each team gets with the fight for the NCAA tournament. That's big, really big.
Yeah, they're going to lose. South Carolina's going to lose the one girl, but they're going to play a 16 seed at home, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
And LSU
just the one loss. One game. I mean, losing one game is all she's going to lose.
Just one game, and they're going to play a 16 seed, so they could beat them with 3 players out there. And LSU won't lose anybody, and they'll be a 2 seed, and so they'll go right on. All right, let's get to the Yellowwood Hotline and get Tom into the show. Good morning, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Good morning, Barry. Good morning, Coach. How are y'all?
Okay.
How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. Coach, I wanted to ask you something. You said when you played Augusta that you was a guest of Mr. Joe Ford. Is that correct?
That is correct. You got a good memory.
Let me ask you this. Was he the chairman when y'all played?
I think he was. If he wasn't, he was close to it. He was the one that advertised Cadillac. He advertised, right. Yeah, and I don't know if Joe would. I was playing golf at in Little Rock, and his son came up to me and said, "We'd like to invite you and Bobby. Dad would like to invite you and Bobby Knight to come over to play golf." And I said, "You talked me into it, you smooth talking devil, you." So Bobby and I went, and but Joe and Bobby stayed up all night talking about wars and about history. My little Fanny went to bed. I didn't know anything about any wars, and
that's a good thing.
So we played 2 days. I had to go off for 1 day, or half a day or something, but it was great. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The reason I asked that is because I read an article about the current chairman, who's very good. The guy's very smart, but the history of the chairman, Coach, you might be interested in this. Those people, they don't go, well, I'm tired of being the chairman, so I'm going to step down. That ain't how it goes over there. The article I read was from, I forgot, I think it was Sports Illustrated, but it was done a while back, and I run across it online and read it, was very interested in it. And they said that a lot of these chairmanships are lost to, bloodless coups within the club. And like the guy that was from Atlanta that ran the Olympics over there, his name was Billy something. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, Billy. Doggone, I'm so bad on names. Barry knows that.
I just read it here a week ago.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Not
Billy Payne.
Anyway,
Billy Payne.
Payne. Billy Payne. Bill Payne.
Thanks, Barry.
Thank you.
Anyway,
Justin, but go ahead.
They said he was a peacock over there. He walked around like, I got power, by God, and everybody better know it. And and he was something else. And then the guy that took over after him, he led a coup against him, and then the guy that's the current chairman, which so far in my experience and what little bit I know about him, the guy that's the chairman right now is my favorite. And but I thought that was interesting, and I just wondered what you knew about any.
I don't know a whole lot about it. I know that you're a big dog walking among all of them, and that pretty much when they have meetings and so forth, the president has got to okay it as far as the final say so about things that they do. They're they're in a little bit of a stink now because of the LIV. LIV didn't have enough to start a fight watching them this weekend. They played somewhere, and I think they all. And I was going to ask Justin about that. Not Justin. Doug about some of that today when he's on. But they just there's a stink as to some want them to play with LIV, some don't. I can't tell what they're going to do, but I guess John Rahm is going to play, and they've said some bad things about him. So I don't really know. I think that's up to a committee, but I think once that committee meets about different things, I think that president has a big say in it, of course.
Yeah, you know that. I mean, they don't go to all the trouble to overthrow the existing chairman, so they don't have any power. I guarantee you that. Yeah. And I bet you anything, that's a contentious bunch of jackasses over there.
Well, what Barry would know, probably because he's in South Carolina, could find out from Steve Spurrier, but I don't know what it costs to be a member, to be invited. But it's big. No, he's not a member. He played over there. He played because he's in South Carolina.
Saban plays over there a lot.
Yeah. Does he? I didn't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's somebody, and now...
He plays with Justin some.
Well, no, it's somebody in Tuscaloosa that's a member.
Okay.
And they take him over there.
Okay. I knew the last time he played with Justin because Justin made 9 birdies or something. They were talking about it.
Well, I'll tell you what the coach, Coach Sewell, said about going to Augusta. Just because you're a PGA player don't mean you take somebody over as a guest.
Yeah.
Well, all right, Tom. Appreciate you, sir.
Thanks.
Thanks. All right, let's talk about Bob Prince and Prince Glover and Hayes. We'll get to Eddie Phillips.
Prince Glover and Hayes, I visited with Bob the other day, and Prince Glover and Hayes are outstanding attorneys, and they will do everything they can to right the things that have gone wrong for you. If you've had an accident, the accident should not have occurred because of the bad situations that you were involved with, or if somebody's coming after you in a different kind of light, then Prince Glover and Hayes at 345-1234 are the people to visit with. Go by and visit with them, and after you have talked to them on the telephone, they'll invite you to come over, and they will go out and represent you in the right way. And I think the big key in all this is they've been so darn successful. They know what comes down, and so many goofy, crazy things come down. I always say that law changes, and it does a lot of times. So Prince Glover and Hayes, outstanding attorneys, 345-1234.
PrinceLaw.net is the website. If they don't win, you don't pay. That's a Tide 100.9.
Also take care of any problems you got with a damp crawl space or a crack in your foundation. They even do pest control and lawn care. Full service, Alabama Professional Services at alabamaprofessional.com.
Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
back to Inside the Locker Room. Pressure treated pine from Great Southern. Always remember that you don't have the yellow tag on it. You don't want it. Go to yellowwood.com to find a dealer that is closest to you. All right, last week we had the SEC tournament coming up. We had Enos Watley on. We talked about the SEC tournament, the 48-46 win of Alabama knocking off Kentucky. And we talked about the last shot. I guess Enos' dad called it a pass. I don't know what it was, but I know Eddie Phillips got it and put it in to win the SEC tournament. We were wondering if Enos got an assist.
No, it was a shot. It was a layup shot when Eddie got it.
And so he was at the University of Alabama from 78 to 82, first-round draft pick of the New Jersey Nets, former Parker High School standout, Eddie Phillips.
Yep.
Good morning, Eddie. How are you?
Hey, Eddie.
Good morning, Bear. How are you?
Good.
Coach, appreciate you being on. I cleared out the side. I talk about you as we go through this thing. I cleared out the side, and I'm convinced that and Watley shot the ball. It was a layup shot. It came out, didn't he?
Well, he got shot. He got two shots at the apple because the first shot he shot it so hard that it clinged off and came right. He came back and followed his shot back up. But on his second shot, it was short. So I would give him an assist because it was short.
Yeah.
Because it didn't hit the rim. So it couldn't have been since it didn't hit the rim, I'll give him the assist, and I got the tip in. As the former late Dick Coffer would always call me when he saw me, the man that beat Kentucky.
Yeah. And they, the funny thing, they call timeout. And, of course, I'm doing everything I possibly can to be sure that they don't beat us with a 3 or something. But they end up, we played good defensively. They ended up with a big guy taking. I thought that took a bad shot, didn't you?
Well, Enos really was kind of when they went to man-to-man, Enos scored on Dirk Minifield, his hometown of Lexington, Kentucky. Scored on Dirk Minifield, great point guard, one of the best in the SEC. Scored on him 7 points straight in one on man-to-man. So they went back to a zone, and we dominated them and rebounded them because we out-rebounded them 26-18. But we had a good enough team with Mike Davis and Bobby Lee Hurt and Philip Lockett, and we could play man-to-man, and we really had a good man-to-man defense that didn't give them a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
And anything that they shot, it was a one and done. And so Enos really, like you called the play, when they went back to man-to-man, Dirk Minifield never could stop him from scoring.
Yeah. Well, Barry?
We're talking with Eddie Phillips. We're talking about the SEC tournament in 82. Just talk about that team, Eddie, and your memories here at the University of Alabama. Obviously, that game is talked about a lot. Not only winning the SEC tournament, which starts this week, but having to play it on somebody's home floor. This year it'll be in Nashville. I guess it's Bridgestone Arena down there. But just kind of talk about that team and then actually winning the tournament on Kentucky's home floor.
Okay. Well, the 82 team, sometimes Coach knows that sometimes you get a team that's capable of winning it all. It may take, 10 years to get that team, but Coach had an opportunity in that 82 team when we added Bobby Lee Hurt, along with me, Mike Davis, and Philip Lockett, and Enos Watley. We became a stronger team with Cliff Wyndham, and we had a stronger team. And the SEC tournament had been in Birmingham, started when I came in.
Yeah.
We played 3 years in Birmingham, and so me and the late Robert Scott and Mule King thought we would have had a chance because we were three guys that played from Birmingham, and we could probably win one, but we never did. 3 years in Birmingham, and a lot of people complained because they said there was a home field for Alabama.
Yeah.
But my senior year, which we had a better team, they put it in Lexington, Kentucky, which was unfair, and it's supposed to have been Kentucky's coronation game, but it didn't happen that way. We spoiled their party. But that team was capable of winning it all, and we got to the Sweet 16, and like I said, by us going in Lexington, everybody thought that it was going to be just a Kentucky walkover. So we had lost to them early in the year twice during the regular season. So it kind of was set up to be that we were just there to be in the consolation game or just take consolation. But we knew we had a good enough team to stay with the players because we had a chance to win the conference because we had played so well during the year. But that was the picture that was going into the game, that it was going to be like a Kentucky coronation game, and because everything was in their favor, and which was a surprise, and sort of like we knew it was Kentucky's tournament to lose, but we had a good enough team to go in there and compete because we had good players.
Sure.
Yeah. Eddie, as you left Alabama and I think it was New Jersey you drafted with, tell our listeners about what happened there. I think you went overseas a lot and played. About what you did after that.
Well, I went overseas and played in 7 countries. Was drafted 21st pick at New Jersey, and Larry Brown played for Larry Brown. Played with Darryl Dawkins, Otis Birdsong, Buck Williams, Albert King, Michael Corrin, Mike Jaminski, Lynn Elmore, and Fritz Walker. And after I left, Larry Brown left us and went to Kansas before the season was over with. So my coach had left. So after that, the next year, I got waived and went to Philadelphia and didn't make the team. So I went over. Leon Douglas called me. He was over in Italy. And I went over to Italy that year. And after that, I just stayed over in Europe because, to me, it was a pretty good career in playing. So I went to Italy, Spain, France, Venezuela, Argentina, Mexico, and Israel. So I ended up playing 14 years in 7 countries.
Wow.
Talk about, I think a lot of guys get over there and they really enjoy it instead of coming back and fighting the NBA. It's a good living over there. Just talk about the basketball over there, Eddie.
Well, it is a very good cultural experience because you go into some foreign countries that have very good cultural and old places. You only play 30 games once a week, so you don't play a hard 82-game NBA schedule where you have to perform and play at a high level every other night and just more games. And it's a more, like I say, laid back, more like a college atmosphere because you practice twice a day during the week, but you just have one game on the weekend. So it's a more less strenuous competition. And like I say, it gives you a chance to see the world, and the people love the game. As most people know, that now you got players that come in from overseas that are good enough to play in the NBA. So they've always loved the sport, and that's where women used to have to go to have an opportunity before they had opportunities to play in America. In the professional league, the sport of basketball was always loved behind soccer in the number 2 sport in Europe. So that's why a lot of players kind of like, go over to a foreign country, be able to continue their professional careers and also make money and be able to enjoy the European cities, Paris, London, France, Rome, and different countries, Jerusalem. So you get a chance to have a very, very deep cultural experience.
Yes, that.
A lot of skilled players, not only the good players coming from the United States over there, but there are a lot of skilled players on their own over there, aren't they? They've got some really skilled players.
Well, a lot of their players, when I was playing, were just beginning to come to universities in America.
Yeah.
And they were getting a chance to play sometimes against professional players at a young age by us coming over there and being in the league to kind of like give them a footing to learn the game, just like in baseball when American soldiers probably brought the game of baseball to Japan, and now you have the Japanese players and Korean players all over that have developed during time because they've had a chance to play against American professional players, and now they're almost to the point to where they're dominating the NBA. You know, like guys like Jokic and Yugoslavian players. They always were good players in those foreign countries that develop now to be great NBA players.
Yeah, we talk to people that have been over there, and they talk about their system over there where they'll practice 7-8 times, like you said, and play one game a week, where here these kids are playing AAU. They may play 7 or 8 games and have one practice. There's a big difference between the development in the youth programs over there, bringing these kids up. A little bit different in Europe than it is over here in the United States. I think their system's probably better, Eddie.
Well, yeah, because you learn how to do the fundamentals of basketball, and you before you learn how to try to win or lose a game, you practice your fundamentals of shooting, passing, rebounding, and dribbling. You know, so your game gets more developed. That's why those guys seem like when they get to America now, they're more advanced.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, it's better to when you practice more, you can get more teaching and more instructions than you do when you just out playing a like a pickup game. So it's more of a structured style than just loose. Well, AAU, you just go one-on-one and don't get in good coaching and instructions.
Yeah. Talk about what you see with Alabama now. I think the game's changed now. Post players now, they all play out on the perimeter behind the three-point line. Not a lot of low post scores. Obviously, the kid at Purdue is exceptional. There's very few post players now, though, that play in the post. But Alabama's been successful running and shooting the threes. Just talk about what you see with Alabama now, Eddie.
Well, you know, the game has evolved. You know, evolution with the three-point shot in the shot clock era now, and like they have these guys, like you said, with a 4 and a 5 now is what they call stretch 4, stretch 5. Well, they are free to shoot 3-pointers and not play in the post and play on the block and shape up on the post and go inside and try to take advantage of people and outwork them and be more physical. So and have a high percentage shot. So coaches now have a philosophy that, you know, we rather maximize the 3-point shot, incorporate it in the game where 3 points every trip would be more than 2, 4, 6. But that's just a different philosophy. And I think this year, the team is basically a kind of a new team because a lot of players, had to be didn't stay this year. But the thing was, the players that came in are more talented. And Mark Seals has had such a great improvement, and I would put him as a candidate for SEC Player of the Year.
Yeah, me too.
You know, so because he's had a great year, and this year they have a lot of new players, and when they're hitting the threes, they are a high scoring offense, and that's why the game has changed because they believed in the 3-6-9 more so than the 2-4-6 every trip. And the thing is, you have to win games to me all the time on defense. And if you can stop people, you can always have an opportunity to stay in the game and win the game.
Yeah.
And so by them getting a double bye this week, they won't have to play until Friday because they'll have the winner of the Florida game between the winner of the Missouri Georgia game. So that will help them too in the SEC tournament. And they've got good players. Estrada is one of the best one-on-one players I've seen because he can create shots, make shots. Nelson, big guy. He's long. But, you know, they don't play like you said, they don't have the post game as they normally would play. I think they missed Ben Beniaco because he was a rim protector, and also he had developed inside. So the game has changed, but no, they don't play. They don't go inside and try to get the most highest percentage shot because the game has evolved and the 3-point line is incorporated along with the shot clock.
Yeah. You think they will let you and Bobby Lee Hurt shoot threes, Eddie?
That would not be. That would get you on the bench very quick with Coach Sanders.
You can shoot one.
Well, you know, in Europe I was able to do that, but a lot of people knew that your game, you could open your game up because big guys were starting to shoot 3 down. But I don't see us shooting, you know, if you was big like a guy like Joel Embiid from Philadelphia, Coach Sanderson always, and their philosophy was the highest percentage shot, stay inside, shape up on the block, and beat your man inside.
Yeah.
And because when you shoot a 3-point shot, it's very difficult to get an offensive rebound.
Sure.
Well, I just had somebody text me wanting me to ask you how it was. I saw more practices than you. How it was to play for Cap Brown. So
Cap Brown was very strenuous. It's, you know, but because he was, you know, a strict disciplinarian. A lot of players in our time probably couldn't play for Cap Brown because Cap Brown would keep you in the gym 3-4 hours, and just, you know, it was a privilege to play for Parker High School. It wasn't something that, and he put you through a military type of system where it was like boot camp in the Marines, and a lot of, and if you couldn't take it, he'll run you away. So it was a difficult, but it was also, if you survived the teaching and the coaching, he was an excellent drill sergeant.
That sounds like what some of these kids need today, Eddie. I think we need to get some more Cap Browns back in the game.
Well, you know, the coaches, if you coach like that, they'll tell you, hey, you can't scare the kids.
Yeah, the mamas and daddies don't want it, but that's what the kids need.
So, sometimes we say, you know, kids now are soft as tissue paper. They just can't be disciplined. They can't take it. And, you know, a lot of times the criticism will just break them. So, so we don't, the coaching style, it's a little bit different, and I think it would help out if they had more discipline. But you know, that's like you said. Now the parents you'll have to be fighting with not only the kid or try to teach them, but the parent may not want you to be so hard on them. So it's a different era and a different generation. So I'm glad to have seen the evolution of the game. So I'm glad to be around to see the evolution, but. I think a stern hand in some cases should be is more profitable and more productive.
Sure.
Yeah. Before we let you go, my main guy was your principal, because I might go in there and say, "Ooh, this grade right here ain't real. I don't know about this grade right here."
It was Bubba Thompson.
Yeah, Bubba Thompson, and he played a lot of cards. And
he did. But you know, coaches, at that time, Coach Cap Brown would paddle you too. Now we had, you know, your behind would be sore if you didn't act right. And so, you know, you had a lot of reinforcements and reasons to act properly, because at that time, you know, you didn't want your mother and father to know that you were getting in trouble at school. So, like I say, generations of changes have changed.
Yeah.
Well, we sure want to thank you for being on. You did a great job. We appreciate it so much, and glad to thank you.
Well, I'm glad to share some of these memories with you, Coach, because we did win a lot of games together.
Yeah, we sure did.
We're going to go back and get that fixed, get Enos Watley assist, and give you the bucket for the SEC championship.
I gave him the bucket anyway. I gave him the bucket. Eddie deserves the bucket.
But from the perspective, like I said, I would give him assists, because he did get 2 shots at it. So it was a great opportunity for me to go and get the shot before it did hit the rim, because if I did go up and get it, the clock may have ran out, and but the things worked out for us, and it was a great feeling to cut the nets down in Lexington. I'll tell you the truth. To cut the nets down in Lexington, Kentucky is one of the most exhilarating moments of my life.
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you, Eddie.
Thanks, Eddie. Appreciate it. Good job.
Thank you, Barry. You keep coaching too, Coach Barry. And Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you. I remember that night too. You know, I don't think that was before the chartered flights or whatever. It was sleeting and snowing that night in Lexington, Kentucky. Well, great memories there in Lexington, and playing that thing on somebody's home floor. But should be a fun tournament up in Nashville to get going on Wednesday night. We'll talk a little bit about maybe a dark horse that could win the tournament that you think could possibly win. I think it's impossible to win 5 games. I don't think the team's playing on Wednesday night. No, but maybe the team's playing on Thursday. Maybe you could win 4. But that double bye gives you an advantage. You only have to win 3. Listen, Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We have picked up a stalled truck that's blocking the right turn lane along westbound McFarland at Lurling Wallace. Pretty busy intersection there, obviously. However, this is not causing a whole lot of backup there, but the right turn lane is blocked for the moment. In Moundville, we've got an accident on southbound 69 past Whitfield Road, but that one appears to be out of the roadway with no road blockage. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Hey, everybody, it's Gary Harris. On the Monday edition of the Gary Harris Show at 9 a.m., we'll recap another busy Alabama sports weekend. Alabama men's basketball getting ready for the SEC tournament in Nashville. The Alabama women coming off their SEC tournament appearance in Greenville, South Carolina. Rodney Orr from TiderInsider.com and Casey Smith on golf, plus your phone calls. The Monday morning edition of
$1 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Want to jump into any of the shows? Call Tide 100.9 right now at 205-342-9904.
Will somebody answer that damn phone?
That's 205-342-9904.
Thank Yellowwood pressure treated pine from Great Southern Wood. If it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, then believe me, you don't want it. I wanted to ask you guys, and I understand you're going to say, well, you got to win big in order to have great attendance. I went out Saturday night. Alabama baseball was playing. I went out and watched them play Lipscomb, and they're obviously a lot better than Lipscomb, and it wasn't really much of a series. Alabama dominated the series. They're currently 15-1. They go to Southern Miss on Tuesday, which will be difficult. Southern Miss always good. But they got Tennessee coming in this weekend. I understand spring break, people are gone. Alabama needs better attendance in baseball, to be quite honest with you. Coach Vaughn has done a terrific job. He's revamped the program. They're fun to watch. They got great pitching. And they're playing Tennessee. That should be a sellout. I'm sorry. It should. Why can't they draw in baseball here like they need to, Dad?
Well, I think that was a tough time for you. So many people were gone.
Yeah, I'm just talking about in general. I can't remember.
I don't know about it in general, but I think you're.
I don't know if they've ever sold that place out since I've been here. And this team, the SEC is so good. And with it getting ready to start this weekend, I hope they'll get out there and support Coach. We need to get Coach Vaughn on and this team. Justin, your thoughts? I know right field's been a big hit with the students being able to go out there. They can bring their coolers, bring their dogs, but the general seating in there, it's always empty in there. We got to start filling that place up for this baseball program.
Yeah, I think we definitely do. It's going to matter more to the students, at least, when we get later into the season, I feel like. But as the weather gets better, I expect the attendance to be
it should be a great weekend with Tennessee coming in, a controversial coach there. So it should be a fun series. I hope we have great crowds out there. We'll try to get out there and watch some of that. All right, you guys have an opinion about that, 205-342-9904. Take this top of the hour break. Listen to Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
From the NFL, breaking late Sunday night, the news the Pittsburgh Steelers have reportedly agreed to sign veteran quarterback Russell Wilson to a one-year deal. Tampa Bay Buccaneers and quarterback Baker Mayfield reportedly agree on a 3-year deal worth $100 million, $50 million guaranteed. And the New England Patriots traded quarterback Mac Jones to the Jacksonville Jaguars. NBA games of note, Thunder over the Grizzlies, 124-93. Oklahoma City now one game up on Denver for the top record in the West. Timberwolves lose to the Lakers, 120-109. Anthony Davis, 26 27 points, 25 rebounds for the Lakers in the win. Minnesota's now a game and a half out of that top spot in the West. Bucks beat the Clippers 124-117. Damian Lillard at 35 points. Giannis Antetokounmpo at 34 points for Milwaukee. Pacers beat the Magic 111-97.
Money back guarantee. Text support to 511-511. Morning Kick.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Allstate Insurance agent Andrew Kniffer will help us kick off this 8 o'clock hour. Andrew's my Allstate Insurance agent. Let him become yours. He's out at 4705 McFarland Boulevard, Suite 3 over in Northport. You're looking for home, life, auto, whatever you need in this community. Andrew and his staff are there, ready, waiting for you. Give them a call today, 205-722-9201. Andrew Kniffer, Allstate Insurance. Mac Jones was traded, Dad, to the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's kind of going back home. Obviously, they have Trevor Lawrence there that will be the starter. I think this will help Mac Jones. He's still going to make his money. He'll make $2.75 million this season. He had signed a 4-year, $15 million contract, but I think being a backup quarterback to me would probably be a great job, man. You're making great money as a quarterback. You don't have to get out there and get murdered. He can kind of let things settle down a little bit. If Trevor Lawrence were to go down, he'll be right there. He's going back home. Just your thoughts about Mac Jones going to Jacksonville.
Well, I think that's fine. I think the things just struggle-wise. They changed offensive coordinators a great deal. He didn't really have good surrounding people around him, as Coach talks about all the time. Your quarterback's got to be surrounded with good players, and it just didn't turn out for him. Coaching change, the offensive coordinator left and went to Vegas while he was there, and I thought that was a big problem for him, and they came in with 2 or 3 people trying to run the offense. So I think that's fine. I think he's getting his money and doing what he can do and back home. And so if you're going to be traded somewhere and things are going to be a drop down, then that's the place to be.
Justin, your thoughts about Mac Jones going there? I think he had, I don't want to say worn out his welcome, but I think the negativity surrounding him in New England, even with a new coach and staff, I think sometimes you just need a fresh start somewhere else. There'd not be a lot of pressure on him. He can develop his game. He can learn. He can watch Trevor Lawrence, learn from him. He's going to be comfortable with the weather. And Jacksonville's much better to play quarterback than it is in New England up in the bitter cold. So all in all, other than being a starter, I think it's a nice move for him.
I think it is. You need a fresh start, like you just said. Unfortunately, I think I see a lot of comparisons to A.J. McCarron in the league. I think he went into a bad situation. Bill Belichick tried to get a defensive coordinator to call plays for him, which, I mean, we know he's capable. He had a Pro Bowl year his rookie year. I think it just really stunned him when all of those changing coordinators and everything like that. I hope that sitting behind Trevor Lawrence, I don't think he's going to learn too much, but we'll see. They have a good coaching staff down there, and hopefully he'll get a chance to start again in the NFL.
Yeah, so going back home is always a good thing, I guess. I'm sure it will be for Mac Jones. I'm pulling for him there. That Alabama had 3 practices here. They're going away for spring break. They went again on Friday, but the players seem to really be enjoying this coaching staff. I think this coaching staff, when you follow Nick Saban, he had discipline and all the things that I'm sure these guys want in place. These guys learn how to practice under Nick Saban. So it's probably nice when you come into a place where you don't have to worry about changing the culture. It's been a working culture. It's been a winning culture there. And now you just got to put your systems in place with guys that understand how to win and understand how to work. That's got to be one step closer to these guys getting their deal put in by how coach and his staff left this program?
Yeah, I think so. I think they left it well. The practices are different. The coaches are kind of going after it in a different way, and they seem to like that. It may be not a cooling off period, but not quite as strenuous as it has been. I may be dead wrong on that. It's just a feeling I have, and we'll see what happens once they get through the learning part of it at each position. Then I'll imagine they'll go good against good and twos against twos and so forth until they find the right people. So right now they're kind of in a learning process, and that takes a lot of talking and not quite as much work.
Do you? I think that with the changing of college athletics, I'm not sure. Justin, you can chime in on this as well. I'm not sure I come out of the spring with a depth chart because of the transfer portal. Guys. Here they probably have options. Some places they probably don't. But if you throw out a depth chart and all of a sudden these guys look at it and they're not on the too deep chart, but guys that are really young that are going to be really good players, but guys aren't very patient. How would you handle that, Dad, with the transfer portal like it is? As far as putting out a depth chart after this.
Well, you're probably right. You probably have something there. They probably need to slow down the depth chart because it's been a learning process. You kind of have an idea as one of the coaches, as your coaches of your group, who's good and who's not. The in between guys, you're not sure. That's the ones that confuse the guns. You think might can play, but they might not can. And I think putting that out kind of bugs you a little bit. Although there is another side to that where they'll say, they didn't think I did that much. I thought I did great. I'm going to get out there and show them. So there's a little bit two sides to that.
Yeah, Justin, your thoughts about and I don't know if they're going to put out a depth chart. And I think kids know. I mean, they know kind of where they stand. They know by who's getting the reps. He called it a rep chart, not a depth chart. If the guy's getting the most reps, generally, unless he's a guy that's come back, already knows the system, and you're just trying to not wear him out in the spring. And just your thoughts about the depth chart there with these young kids not really understanding. You got to kind of wait your turn. It's kind of a scary deal for these coaches.
Oh, I'm sure. I know covering the A-Day game last year, we were sitting in the press box just, everybody's freaking out about the depth chart. The depth chart, it comes out, and then, of course, Nick Saban's go-to was the, Jalen Milroe or Ty Simpson or on every player. So I really wouldn't be surprised if we don't get a depth chart because you're right, Barry. These guys are going to have that second portal open up right after. And if you want a guy to stay and develop, you might not think that's the best idea. So you want to make sure that they think they have a chance to start come fall.
Yeah, and I guess on the flip side of that, Dad, too, now they've made it easier to maybe if they feel like they've missed or they feel like there's some kids that maybe don't fit their system, to move them on and to bring them in because, there'll be other schools that have guys get into transfer portal that could probably, fix a need or help a situation where Alabama has maybe some limited depth. So they can move guys just as well as people moving themselves, can't they?
Yeah, they sure can. And this transfer portal thing, I don't know how much they got guys keeping up with that and knowing who can play and who can't. Because you may say to yourself, "Well, I need so and so. We need to try to get transfer portal and get this guy, that guy." But you got to know him. Now, he's got a right-hand man there that is that supposedly is his general manager. That's the way they do it. And that general manager, one of his big jobs is to keep up with every day with who's going in the transfer portal and a little bit about each one, and that's going to be big.
Yeah, I thought Alabama. I thought what Nate Oates said about, and I'm going to the senior. They honored all the seniors because he said he didn't want to have those conversations right now about whether a guy was coming back or not. So let's honor them all, and then they'll, at the appropriate time. We know Estrada's not coming back. My sources tell me Nelson will come back. We'll see about Sears and those things. And that's probably where you can utilize some of that NIL to keep these kids to come back. But I thought that was probably the right move. honor them all, and then have the conversations after the season. Just your thoughts about how Nate.
Yeah, I think it's probably. I think that's the best way to do it, because so many things can happen over the. And everything starts off with I thought this, I thought that. This way you don't, they're shown that seniors may not be seniors. So, I thought questions don't have to be answered right now.
Yeah, I love Coach Oates. I wasn't crazy about the comments if they'd have had rights, so they would have won the
that's ridiculous.
Won the league, because
that's ridiculous.
They didn't guard Kentucky very well. You got to play better defense to win the league.
Yeah, you can't win the league. You got to guard
So, all right, we'll take this break. We'll get to Doug Bell when we get back. This is Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We're looking at an 8-minute ride both directions on 2059 between Skyland Boulevard and the I-359 interchange. Meantime, along 69 between 15th Street and Middle-Erie Road, that's 10 to 11 minutes there. And
to save lives, the one-day hands-on driving school gives teens experience in car control through exercises that include emergency braking and skid recovery. Find a class near you at TireRack.com/survive.
Years ago, Jimmy Rain decided that the best way to advertise Great Southernwood was through coaches. Gene Stallings, Pat Dye, Steve Spurrier, and myself, and many more coaches took to the radio and TV airwaves to tell people that if you're building outdoors, the only way to build is with pressure-treated pine, yellow wood. It is the very, very best. Why? Because all the coaches said yellow wood, pressure-treated pine, protects against bug, termite, and weather. Decking, fencing, play sets, whatever you're wanting to build, just go to the internet. Look.
Sure, I'm pulling them off. 24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/credit card.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A sunny sky today. The high for this afternoon around 63. Cold again tonight. Clear with the low at 35. Tomorrow and Wednesday, mostly sunny both days with a warming trend. The high tomorrow 70. The high Wednesday at 74 degrees. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 35 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry, only on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. I just remembered, guys, y'all were supposed to help me with this. I hadn't fed the fish. I got to go feed the fish when I get home. Can you go a day without feeding fish, Justin?
No, they're dead now.
Oh, come on. Don't say that.
They are. They passed away.
No way. Tuscaloosa Toyota. Go to TuscaloosaToyota.com. I'm looking at the new website right here. Man, this thing is awesome. You can got tabs here for new vehicles, used vehicles, schedule a service, rent a Toyota. If you need to order a part, you can do it right there at the website. You can look at all the 2024s. And, man, that Grand Highlander is something special. Swing by 3325 Skyland Boulevard. See Justin, see David DeSantis, and tell them that Wimp and Barry sent you. Go to the new website, TuscaloosaToyota.com. All right, we're going to get to the Tuscaloosa Toyota hotline. I have no idea where he is. I saw a picture of him running in Jupiter. So he's down there with him. Maybe he and Coach are hanging out. He's with PGA Tour Live, CBS Sports. I love listening to him on XM radio, calling PGA Tour events. Doug Bell. Good morning, Doug. How are you?
Hey, Doug. Hey, Barry. Hey, Coach. Good morning, guys.
Where are you today, Doug? Where are you?
I'm in South Florida, about to come back to Alabama, and actually will be working from home this week and hope to go to the SEC basketball tournament. I haven't done that in years, so
nice.
We'll see what happens.
Well,
I'd like to go watch a little
Dad's
Alabama.
always hitting you up for Masters tickets, so you need to hit him up for some SEC tournament tickets.
Yeah, I don't have
I'm going to text you later.
Oh, there you go. That'd be good. You won't get any. Tell me this. I know Scotty won. There's some talk about him changing putters. I wanted you to mention that to us. Rory had mentioned to him about changing putters, and I got another question. Go ahead. What about that?
Well, first off, Scotty Scheffler, it had been almost a year. You know, he won the Players a year ago, and the Players is this week. So it had been almost 1 year since he last won, even though he had that stretch last season at the end of the year where he had 7 consecutive tournaments where he finished top 5. And the bottom line, guys, and this is an amazing statistic in golf, Scottie Scheffler is number one in driving, number one in iron play, approach shots. I mean, from tee to green, he has no peers. In fact, he gained statistically almost 7 shots against the field. And then putting, he went number one there, but putting going into the week, he was 133rd in the rankings. 133, by the way, for the number one player in the world. But he putted out of his mind this week. Changed putters, went to a mallet-headed putter coach, and it worked. On Sunday, shot that bogey-free round, best round of anybody, and didn't miss a putt inside 15 feet on Sunday, which is, when you think about that, pretty amazing. Yeah. So he won going away and solidified his number one ranking. So, it was good to see him win again. Listen, we talked last week on the show, the tour really needed one of the big names to win, and he's the best player in the world. So they got their wish this week.
Well, the Rory McIlroy Tiger Woods thing went kablunk. It didn't work. I think you can comment on that for us. Maybe the players weren't interested. Whatever it was, you can tell us. But the PGA seems to be going through some turmoil, more so turmoil now than ever. I know Roy's made a lot of statements. Just tell our listeners about what's going on, I guess. Yeah. It's interesting. The game of professional golf, obviously, as we talked about in this show, and if you followed it all, it's in a state of flux. I mean, it's a tumultuous time in professional golf for a lot of reasons. And if you watch the Netflix show Full Swing, which broke last week, where they follow Rory and Justin Thomas and some other guys around all year, and it's interesting because Rory, at the beginning of that Full Swing series on Netflix, I mean, he was the mouth of the PGA Tour. I mean, Liv came in and he was anti-Liv, negative Liv. They're ruining the game, etc. And then he, like everybody else, Justin Thomas included on the show, they were caught completely off guard when the tour reached a handshake agreement with Liv, the Saudis, and it totally soured Rory, who really felt that he was totally loyal to the tour, and they turned his back on him. He should have known what was going on, and that's all depicted in the show. It's interesting. And so this week, by the way, at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, and he said this leading up, Rory has said, listen, I was basically, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said, listen, I was wrong about what I said about Liv, and I think a world tour where just the top players play events, that's what we need, like the Premier League in soccer. And he said, myself and maybe 50 of the other best players in the world ought to have our own tour, and the PGA Tour ought to, that's pretty amazing when you think about it, and that's where we are. I mean, Rory was the top guy, and now Tiger is on the player advisory board for the first time in his career on the PGA Tour, and the tour felt they needed the biggest name in the game on their side, and he's still on their side. But when you think that, and listen, for the first time yesterday, guys, the Arnold Palmer Invitational got done early, so I flipped over and I watched Live Golf for the first time, and there was Bryson DeChambeau being interviewed. His team won the team championship. Abraham Answer, this talented guy from Mexico, used to be on the PGA Tour, beat Paul Casey and Cam Smith, a talented Australian guy, in a playoff. And I gave it a go. And I said, you know what? I know all these guys. I've interviewed all these guys. I like all these guys. So there is some merit to Live. The more I hear Rory and some other guys, I tend to think that we're going to have a kumbaya, and there is going to be some crossover. And the PGA Tour, as we know it now, it's going to have a completely different look. I would say probably by next year, and so we'll see what happens. I do think we're going to have more of the superstars playing their own separate events, and the rank and file will be playing their events on the PGA Tour, and you're going to have to earn your way into those big time events. That's what we're headed to in professional golf.
We're talking with Doug Bell. Doug, what do you see with Nick Dunlap? Made the cut again. Shot 71 on Sunday. He did make $54,000. He's made $107,000 now since he's turned pro. What does he need? Does he get more comfortable? He seems to be making a couple of cuts now. He's not in contention, but and Hunter's his caddy. Does he need to look maybe at changing caddies or keep that team together? Just talk about what you see there with Nick.
Well, I talked to them last week briefly, 2 weeks ago, down at PGA National for the Cognizant Classic, and they seem happy. Everything's kind of a new experience for both of them, and I think what Nick is realizing is how good these guys are. Listen, he crashed the winner's circle, which was an unbelievable story for an amateur to win on the PGA Tour. It hadn't been done, guys, as we've talked about, in like 35 years. Phil Mickelson was the last one to do it. But I think now that he's turned pro, he realizes, oh, my goodness, I mean, these are the best of the best. And when you compare his game, which is remarkable, right? But when you compare Nick Dunlap's game to Scotty Scheffler, who won yesterday, he has a long way to go to reach that level. And, he finished what? He finished 19 shots behind Scotty Scheffler. And I think he's realizing as he goes along, everything's a new experience. Every course is a new experience. The fact he's playing 4 rounds in a row, he's never done that before. In most cases now, you have to play really hard on Thursday and Friday to earn your way into Saturday and Sunday. He's no longer, on the college amateur level, he was probably the longest hitter out there. No longer is that the case. On the college amateur level, he was probably the best iron player out there. No longer is that the case. And these guys, these are professionals. That's all they do. They work at their craft endlessly, and they're always tinkering, always experimenting, working with their coaches. If they're at home, there's no time off. They're playing golf, and I think Nick is realizing that he has to elevate his game, and I think he has a great attitude. And he's a supremely gifted young guy. He's only 20.
Yeah,
but Barry, coach, he's. I think he realizes, and I think Hunter, his caddy, realizes, who was a good player in his own right, we just got to get to work. We've been given this incredible opportunity now for the next 2.5 years, an exemption on the PGA Tour, and we just need to keep working. Because, I think Scotty Scheffler was off for 3 weeks before this week at Bay Hill, and he didn't take time off. He went to his club in Dallas with his instructor and worked tirelessly every single day on every aspect of his game, especially his putting. And obviously that came to light this week. So that's the thing. The top guys, they're not only ultra talented and they have this God-given ability, but man, they have the great ones have this undeniable work ethic. And I think Nick's, not that he doesn't work hard, but I think you realize, I've been working hard, but when I watch these other guys, wow, they work hard on a different level. And I think he's learning. It's a learning experience, needless to say.
Sure.
Where do we stand with Augusta again, as far as LIV and players?
Oh, I thought I thought you meant as far as me getting you tickets. I'm still working on that.
No, that's okay.
Oh, okay. No, the LIV guys they're all, if you're a past champion, obviously you're going to be there. Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, Patrick Reed, Sergio Garcia, and Joaquin Niemann, who was the hottest player on LIV. He was given a special invite to play at Augusta because the powers that be felt that he deserved a spot. And so that's where we are, the LIV guys. And remember last year at Augusta, that was the big deal coming in because everybody, and I think I even said it on your show, listen, I didn't think the LIV guys were going to be championship tournament tough, having played, sparingly in these 54-hole events that are almost like exhibitions. But last year, if you remember, Koepka finished second to Rahm, and Patrick Reed and Phil Mickelson both finished in the top 5. And everybody's like, whoa. And then, of course, Koepka went on to win the PGA Championship. And, of course, Rahm is now on LIV, which is interesting. So, yeah, in that list I just named, obviously Jon Rahm will be back, too. First time we'll have seen Jon Rahm now. Back playing with PGA Tour guys in just a few weeks there at Augusta.
Talk about the Players' Championship, the field that will be there this weekend.
Yeah, it has always been coined. It is the best field in golf when you consider all the players. There'll be 144 players, world ranking points, et cetera. This magnificent golf course, which has gotten better every year. In 1982 was the very first one when the great Jerry Pate won it and grabbed Dean Beam, and then the commissioner, grabbed him and put him into the lake next to the green. That was fascinating. But we've come a long way. The course is now an absolute gem. It's incredible. With that said, though, it is the Players' Championship without, all the live players, without John Rahm, without Brooks Koepka, without Dustin Johnson, without Patrick Reed. These are some really talented players that are now playing on the other tour. So there's always, there's not an asterisk anymore, guys. You don't want to do that. But as we've talked about this morning so far, without those other guys, there's just a missing element in professional golf. It's still an incredible championship. I think Justin Thomas is among the favorites and is playing better, by the way. I think he's in a good spot to maybe break through, and he's won it before, won it a couple of years ago. But I don't know. Without all those other guys, you just kind of wish that they were there as well. It is an incredible tournament on an incredible golf course. The 17th hole, the Island Green, is still ultra exciting. It's unbelievable. But it sure would be fun to have all those other guys there.
And where are we with the people at the top of golf? The guy that makes it the commissioner, and where are we with golf at the very, very top of the totem pole?
Well, the PGA Tour has entered an agreement with the Strategic Sports Group, which includes the billionaire sports owners, Arthur Blank, the Atlanta Falcons, who owns many sports entities, John Henry, the owner of the Boston Red Sox, and others. LeBron James is a part of that Strategic Sports Group. Drake, the singer, is part of that Strategic Sports Group. These are all guys who are billionaires who have these investment properties. Not just, we're talking about baseball, soccer, Formula One, and now golf. With that said, though, the negotiations are still continuing, Coach, with the Saudis, with the LIV people. And they are now waiting if we're not sure what the holdup is there, but the Saudis may also become a third. 33% PGA Tour LIV and the Strategic Sports Group, but the PGA Tour wants to still control it. They still want to be in charge. And so that's where we are, Coach. Negotiations continue. There's a lot of money out there. At the same time, what you find interesting is long-term sponsors on the PGA Tour. For example, Honda had been one of the longest sponsors in the PGA Tour. Got out. They were asking them to double their money, and Honda said no thanks. So after 30 years, Honda's out. Wells Fargo, Quail Hollow, the fabulous golf course in Charlotte. It's like Shoal Creek in Birmingham. It's an incredible layout. Wells Fargo, the bank in Charlotte, was their sponsor, and now Wells Fargo's out. They're like, no, because the tour's asked them to double the money to be a sponsor on the PGA Tour. And with all that said, Coach, TV ratings are down, significantly down. So there's a lot. The sport is in an absolute state of flux. And I know it sounds a lot of negativity. It's just chaotic right now. The players want more money. They're getting more money. And now the tour's trying to figure out how they maintain control with all these other entities now coming in for the first time ever, putting billions of dollars in the sport. And how do you do that and then maintain your tax exemption because you donate so much money every week to charity? So it's complicated. It is. Yeah. It is the craziest thing you've ever. Yeah. Golf used to be a very simple sport. These guys would play, earn money. Yeah. And now it's unbelievable where it's been.
Well, it's gone the same way to some degree as it has in football, basketball. The word money is involved.
Yeah.
It's gone It's gone the money direction, hadn't it?
Oh, there's no question. And you can't really blame the players, even though I've always felt golfers the top guys kind of feel. They have a self-importance when they start comparing themselves to NFL players or NBA players or Major League or Formula One, whatever. But at the same time, they argue well, why shouldn't we be compared to those other athletes? And then the argument is, well, you don't have the TV ratings, you don't have the TV contracts. It's a niche sport, so it's fascinating what's going on. The players are benefiting. The top players are benefiting from getting a lot more money than they ever dreamed of. But it's from here on out, I think the rank and file players will get somewhat left behind. But we'll see what happens. But it's certainly headed in that direction.
Doug, who wins the SEC tournament?
Well, I hope I get to go. Guys, Kentucky to me is just a dynamic, incredible team offensively, and they have so many guys they go to, and the Shepherd kid is phenomenal. I don't know. The Kentucky won 7 out of their last 8. The only loss was the last second tip in Baton Rouge. I think Kentucky, and the win in Knoxville on Saturday, even though Tennessee had already wrapped up the championship. Golly, I watched that with. I've watched the last 5 Kentucky games, and they've been they're the most exciting team to watch in college basketball. I think we can all agree on that. And we'll see what happens. It's the Kentucky, Alabama in that lower bracket. And, Alabama obviously is not playing as good as they did earlier this year or maybe just a few weeks ago. And that tends to be kind of what happened last year. They fade in the end for whatever reason, and the 3-point shots aren't there. I don't think teams are learning how to defend that. But we'll see what happens. I think we're going to have an Alabama-Florida, third game between those two schools. I think Florida's going to advance, and I think Alabama-Florida for the third time will be fun to watch. And I think ultimately, if Alabama can get by that one, we'll have another Alabama-Kentucky in the semifinals.
Yeah.
I think I'm looking forward. I think the top 4 teams have kind of, maybe set themselves apart a little bit. South Carolina's very good and a dangerous team. But I like those top 4 seeds. I really do. And I think we'll have chalk going into the semifinals. That's what I think.
There you go. All right. Well, hopefully Samford can win tonight. That'll put Alabama, Auburn, and Samford. We'll see UAB's got their tournament coming up this week. They came off a win over SMU yesterday, so I think they got a double bye as well in their tournament. So good basketball being played. And so we'll see how this thing finishes up. All right, Doug, tell them about MD Wellness and Aesthetics before we let you go.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, guys. Susan Bricknett is the owner, and she's there just in about an hour. She'll be there to answer the phones, 205-582-9216. And she always tells me to tell everybody to go to the website, mdwellnessaesthetics.com, and that kind of tells you everything that they do, whether it's the Botox, the fillers, the hair treatment, laser treatments, weight loss. It's skin care. It's an opportunity to make yourself feel better, look younger, and I guess that's what we're all striving for. Again, 205-582-9216, MD Wellness and Aesthetics, and it's a free consultation, by the way. If you call Susan, it doesn't cost anything to go in and sit down and talk with her and Dr. Dawn Mancuso.
Have safe travels, Doug. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Talk to you next week.
All right. There's Doug Bell. They'll be traveling back up from Florida. That purse this weekend, they had $25 million. The PGA is putting money out there, but I think it has lost a little bit of its luster. All right, let's tell them about Bryant Bank before we get to break.
Well, Bryant Bank with the 4 locations, we talk about a great deal, and certainly they're outstanding because they're homegrown. And the homemade bankers have a very, very great atmosphere. And if you need to some banking you have banking problems, or you want to just open up a new account, then I'll tell you right now, Bryant Bank is the place. I've been with them for years and years and years. They came to headquarters in Tuscaloosa since 2005. They really remain committed to the state of Alabama, which is important for us. They've got freedom and flexibility for you to bank because you can get online and bank around the clock. They know exactly what they're doing. If people know you and you know the people, they have a better opportunity to interact with you and help you with the problems that you have. And Bryant Bank can do that. Also, we also mentioned that the small businesses have been targeted. Even people's accounts, personal accounts, have been targeted throughout the country. And the Bryant Bank does darn great job in being sure that no fraud attempts ever come to Bryant Bank or ever come to your account, which is darned important. So go by Bryant Bank. Tell them you heard on Inside the Locker Room. Tell them you heard Barry and I talk about them. I can tell you right now, I've been with them for a long, long time and fixed to open up another account with them for one of my grandsons. So it's important that you go buy if you need banking.
All right, we'll take this break. Open up the phone lines, 205-342.
Everything you can do with a John Deere compact tractor, you just have to get in the seat. Learn more at johndeere.com/get in the seat or visit a dealer near you.
Years ago, Jimmy Rain decided that the best way to advertise Great Southern Wood was through coaches. Gene Stallings, Pat Dye, Steve Spurrier, and myself, and many more coaches took to the radio and TV airwaves to tell people that if you're building outdoors, the only way to build is with pressure-treated pine, yellow wood. It is the very, very best. Why? Because all the coaches said yellow wood, pressure-treated pine, protects against bug, termite, and weather. Decking, fencing, play sets, whatever you're wanting to build, just go to the internet, look at yellow wood.
We have in the quality, the consistency of our food carries over to everything we do in the stores. That's Taco Casa.
This report is sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental-car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance and is backed by an entire team of people you know and trust. Rent a Toyota and let's go places. Reserving yours is a breeze at TuscaloosaToyota.com.
The best place for your high school football coverage is right here on Tide 100.9 and online on Tide100.9.com.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. All right, SEC tournament gets going on Wednesday night. Dad, I know you always put a lot of stock in. I always enjoyed going to the SEC tournament. I think it's a great event. I love it being in Nashville. I think this will be after you get past Wednesday and Thursday, I think Friday's ticket will be a tough ticket to get in with Kentucky playing. Obviously, Kentucky is in the same session as Alabama, so that makes the ticket even tougher to get there. But just, I know you always had good experiences at the SEC tournament. I think Nashville's a great place to have it, so it should be a good event up there this weekend. I don't see any team winning it that's not already a lock to be in the NCAA tournament I don't think Arkansas can win 4 games in 4 days. They would be a team that's not going to the tournament. Mississippi State is not playing very well. Texas A&M, maybe they played their way back into this field. Just your thoughts about these teams going into the tournament.
Well, I think you're right. I think the top 7, as I give it, I'm sure I'm dead wrong. It'd be more than 7, but that's what I thought. But one of those 7 will win the tournament, and they get the automatic bid, of course. So we'll see if for some reason somebody below that at the bottom 7 wins it, and we'll have 8 or 9 in there. So I think it's an exciting time. I think basketball is a tournament game. People have always come to it, have made a week out of it, and we have so many teams that are about even, really. Do we have a great team? I'm not sure. Alabama at times can be that because when they shoot it well, but defensively they struggle a little bit. Kentucky struggles some defensively. I think the difference a little bit, if you talk about Alabama, is they have decided to just completely try to take away the threes and go ahead and give them the dribble drive and try to beat the twos with threes. I think that's what Kentucky did, and I felt like if Florida did the same thing. Now, I mentioned those 2 because those are two possible games that Alabama would play. They would play Florida, and then they would play probably Kentucky. And so we'll see there. But you're right, Friday will be a big day because that morning in the second session, Auburn will be playing, and Arkansas is playing better. They're physical, and I think Auburn's playing well too. So that should be a heck of a game, and then we'll see what happens on Saturday when those people move on up. But I think the biggest thing is you got to want to be there as a team. Behind the scenes you do, and sometimes behind the scenes you don't catch it with your team, that your team is saying to themselves, we ain't going to win. Well, I need to go to Florida. I ain't worried about this. There are some cases like that. So it's got to be a situation where you prepare by getting ready with to play the other team, whatever they play. It's a very interesting tournament in that you never see zone defense in the tournament. I've seen none almost. You just don't see any. People are so afraid of the zone defense against threes that they don't ever really work on zone defense to get ready. Kind of interesting to me. That's the difference I see. They're not real good defensively, some of them, but they just don't play zone.
Yeah, Lenardi's got his new bracket out. Alabama 4 seed. That's probably about right. If they go probably, and they play poorly in the SEC tournament, maybe it'll fall to a 5. I don't see it getting any better than 4. They've got them taking on, which would be a tough game, Vermont in the first round. Out in Spokane, so hopefully they won't have to go to Spokane. And then they would play the winner of Clemson and Richmond, which they've already played Clemson. The number 1 seed in the Midwest, which will be in Detroit, is Purdue. Zach Edey. Did you see yesterday where they retired Zach Edey's jersey?
Yeah,
he didn't even know that was coming.
People are beginning to quit retiring things and putting names on things now like they used to. And Zach Edey. He stayed around an extra year because he felt like he could be number 1. There were so many good ones last year, and he did the right thing. Because when you're number 1, you're going to get a pile of money.
So you're telling me the guy that is still playing for Purdue got his jersey retired?
At senior day yesterday, he didn't know it was happening. They retired it. You don't like that?
He's still playing, right? He's still wearing the jersey.
Well, I mean, he's not going to play another game in Mackey Arena, so they wanted the home crowd. Only I don't agree with, Dad, is, and I hadn't looked at Arizona's resume, but I thought maybe that loss by Tennessee might cost them the number 1 seed. According to Lenardi, they're still a 1 seed. They got, obviously, Purdue, the number 1 overall. I'm sorry, UConn, Purdue, I think is 2, as a 1 seed. Houston and Tennessee. Is Tennessee still a 1 seed in your opinion?
I don't know. Probably. I don't know what it's going to be. Barry, there's a lot of politics in that room. Any way you slice it, cut it, or hack it, there's a lot of politics. And I'm real anxious to see if Samford wins tonight, where they put them. Excuse me.
You wouldn't want them to be a 15. You wouldn't have to play. You wouldn't want to play Samford as a 2. I think Samford will probably be around a 14 if they win tonight, which obviously puts.
Oh yeah, I think they'll be that or higher. Yeah, I think they will. Athletic director and athletic from Alabama is there as well. So we'll see. There's some swapping out that I think is done, and some things. So I don't know.
I'm surprised here. Lenardi's got Mississippi State as one of the last 4 buys. Losing at home to South Carolina. Not that that's a bad loss, but and Texas A&M absolutely blew out Ole Miss on the road. He's got old Texas A&M Miss first 4 out, so not even in this field. Last 4 buys: Colorado State, Seton Hall, TCU, Mississippi State. Last 4 in Indiana State, which would be nice, who lost in the finals of the conference tournament. Virginia, Colorado, and Rick Pitino in St. John's. Rick Pitino.
Where do you pick that up? What channel what do you get that on?
On ESPN.com. You just go there and go to basketball. The bracket is out. That was as of 3:10, which was last night at 11:15. So
there's going to be some disappointments this time, Barry. It always is, but maybe enough. We've got 5 teams that you think about, that, and I know they're, you think about how in the world somebody going to beat Houston, and then, 4 or 5 teams that you just think to yourself, well, Houston, Connecticut, one of those is going to win it regardless. And they may not. They be interested. I don't know.
Yeah, I think for Alabama, 4 seed is a pretty good seed because you're probably you're going to play the 5 or 12 in the second round to get to the Sweet 16. So sometimes you get in those higher seeds. There's upsets there, but you'll play a good team in the second round. a team like a Clemson or Richmond, who will be a 12 seed. Those 12 seeds, there's not a lot of difference between a 5 and a 12, to be quite honest with you. And that's why you see upsets a ton in that particular game. All right, we take this last break and wrap up the show. You listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We're winding down this Monday morning drive, free and clear of any real problems to get in your way, at least for the time being. That includes the trip on 2059 from Foster's to Cottondale, McFarland Boulevard from Coker across Lurling, Wallace, U of A, and down to the I-20, and 69 up from Hale County as well. All continue to move along very well. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Monday edition of The Game, Barrett Sallee, Drew DeArmond, and also Martin Houston's going to get you all the way through. Brett and Tony going to be sitting in for me right here on The Game on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest running sports program in Tuscaloosa.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashback debit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A sunny sky today. The high for this afternoon around 63. Cold again tonight. Clear with the low at 35. Tomorrow and Wednesday, mostly sunny both days with a warming trend. The high tomorrow 70. The high Wednesday at 74 degrees. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 35 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Two-time state champion and two-time NIT champion Barry Sanderson breaks down the latest in sports on Inside the Locker Room on Tide 100.9.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. Tomorrow's show will be fun. We got, obviously, Kevin Skarbinski will be with us at 7:30, but James Hollywood Robinson will join us at 8:15. Hollywood, what a scorer he was. I think I saw him score here at Alabama against Mississippi State. I may be wrong about this. He scored 28 points in 16 minutes, I think.
Yeah, he is going to be on in Barry at 6:15 for him out there.
Yeah, he's out in Vegas, so he'll be on at 8:15 with us. But James is he's a full of energy, great guy. I look forward to talking to James Hollywood Robinson. He would blow bubbles when he was at the foul line. He's
moving back to Mobile, son.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of interesting how these guys.
Mobile? He's from
how these guys grow up. You know what he said to me? He said, "Coach, my kids don't visit me anymore. I hope y'all think it. I hope you listen to that. My kids don't visit me anymore. I'm too far away from them.
Yeah,
we're moving to Mobile."
Wow, he's been in Vegas for a while. So, all right,
he's been building houses. I don't want to buy one.
Yeah, you don't think he's a good builder?
I don't know.
Don't be picking on Hollywood's building. All right, that's it for today's show. We'll get out of here and make way for the Gary Harris Show. Should be a fun week. I always love this week. I love the smaller conferences, championship games. Pulling for Sanford tonight. Hopefully Bucky Ball can win tonight, put them in the NCAA tournament. These one-and-done leagues are tough, exciting, and the SEC tournament will get started on Wednesday night. You listen to Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports. Have a great day, everybody.